السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
How are you, Yahya?
الحمد لله.
Alhamdulillah, we started the first lesson, lesson one of Nahw primer in the previous session. Now moving on to lesson two, we did a full introduction, overview of Nahw before. Now each lesson we'll do inshallah over one session, and each lesson will automatically make Nahw develop step by step, where by the end of 43 lessons, inshallah, our full structure of Nahw will be in place. Now, initially, the first few lessons, some might find it very easy and some might find it quite overwhelming, because it all depends if you've had a journey of Arabic before. And even if you've not had a journey of Arabic before, it's very likely some might just find it very easy. Because to be honest, it is very simple concepts. Like some might even say to the extent that, is this all Arabic grammar is? But you have to be patient. And inshallah, by the end of 43 chapters, the full structure will come in place. And then it'll be very, you'll understand that it's actually a deep science, yet you can easily get your head around it if you stay focused for the 43 chapters, inshallah. So you ready, Yahya, for chapter 2?
جي.
So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Lesson 2. Lesson 2. Before we go into lesson 2, in terms of any language, remember a lot of these rules that we mentioned, especially in the earlier lessons, it's not restricted to Arabic, it's universal for any language, whether that's English, whether that's Dutch, whether that's Arabic, whether that's sign language. So in any language, you always have certain things which are universal. And from amongst the things that's universal is within languages, you have some utterance, you have an utterance. Utterance is anything that comes out of my mouth. Now, in terms of utterances, so you have utterances. In terms of utterances, you get two types of utterances. The first type is something which has a proper meaning behind it. So we call that meaningful utterances, which is the heading of the chapter. And sometimes you have utterances which don't really have a meaning behind it. We loosely call it useless utterances. I'll give an example. In Arabic, for example, the word Zayd. Zayd is a name of a human being. That's obviously a useful utterance. But then I could just say a random thing in Arabic, dazaba, dal, za, and ba. Now, to my knowledge, and I'm guessing majority of our audience, to their knowledge, dazaba has no meaning. It just seems like a useless utterance someone's just made. So to the best of my knowledge, that doesn't have a meaning. It's a useless utterance. Now, in different languages, people sometimes when we speak, we just add on certain words, but it doesn't really actually have a meaning. Are there any examples like that you can think of, Yahya, in English?
Of meaningless, useless.
Yeah, at least in that context, it just doesn't have a meaning. Don't think of the meaning behind that. I can understand. I actually know one in Urdu language. But is there any in English you can think of? Okay, I'll give one example in Urdu language. You know, in Urdu, you say chai, tea.
जी.
But you know, when people speak, they say chai bai. So shall we bring tea for you? Kya hum aapke liye chai bai laye? Now, bhai, it might have a normal meaning, which means brother, but they don't mean, shall we bring tea and a brother? It's just, you don't look too deep into that word bhai there. So it's, you can call it, like, it's just the way it's spoken in Urdu language, but for our loose terminology, you can call it a useless word there. I'm not really calling it useless, but I'm just saying, don't look at the meaning of that word there. So is there any word like that in English or any sentence? If you do think of it, let me know. Anyway, so like that, utterances of two types, meaningful and useless. So now in Arabic, what do we call this? So any utterance in Arabic is called lafz. So any utterance, whether it's useful or useless, that's called lafz. Lafz. So what does lafz mean here?
It's any utterance.
Any utterance from a human's mouth. By the way, this is just a side note. You can ignore it. It's just for extra knowledge on the side. The word lafadha in Arabic actually means to throw. So literally the word lafz just means any utterance thrown out of your mouth. Any utterance thrown out of your mouth. More commonly, lafz is translated as word, or will for our Nahw will understand it as utterance. So your translation of lafz in our context, in our chapter, is utterance. Now lafz can be of two types. Lafz mawdu' and lafz muhmal. Lafz mawdu' and lafz muhmal. Mawdu' means meaningful utterance. Meaningful utterance. Example, babun. Babun. Do. Do is a meaningful utterance. Babun is an Arabic word which means do. Or in English, if I said do, do is a meaningful utterance. Correct? When I say that, it has a meaning behind it.
Yep.
Whereas on the other hand, so that's mawdu. That's number one. On the other hand, muhmal. Muhmal is a meaningless utterance. So it's an utterance which doesn't have a meaning. For example, in English, I just randomly picked a random word, random few letters, and I joined them together. Repop. What does repop mean in English?
Nothing.
Nothing. It's just a meaningless utterance. By the way, that word repop came from the word paper. The reverse of paper is repop. But anyway, forget the reverse and all that. That's irrelevant here. The main thing is the word repop. What meaning does it have? Nothing. So it's a meaningless utterance. It's muhmal. In Arabic, you call it muhmal. So as a recap, before we move on. In terms of Arabic language, any utterance is called lafz. If it's a useful or meaningful utterance, we call it mawdu. And if it's a meaningless utterance, we call it muhmal. Is that clear?
That's clear.
Okay. Now activity 1. Before we go on to activity 1, by the way, in your own time, you can read all the English of the half a side that I've explained. But really what I've explained, now when you read it, all of this half a side should make perfect sense. Yep.
Yep.
Before we move on to the activity, Yahya, if you can share what you've learned so far.
So, like all languages, the English language and the Arabic language included, there's utterances, and utterances can either be meaningful or they can be useless. In the Arabic language, we call those utterances lafz. And so the term which is used for a meaningful utterance is lafzun mawdu'. And so an example of that which was given was bab, which meant door. It's something meaningful. You get something meaningful out of it. It literally means door. But meaningless utterance in Arabic is termed as lafzun muhmal, which means that it's meaningless. And an example of that was like repop, which it literally means nothing. Like you get no meaning out of it. It's completely useless.
Very good. Now, in terms of the activities, so most of the lessons will have some activities. Now, the way we'll do the activities, it's important that the student tries as well. You'll get mistakes. You'll make 1,000 mistakes. No problem. Making mistakes is not the problem, but you don't want to lack confidence. So even if you make a mistake with confidence, because the mistake can be corrected. But if you're someone who always lacks confidence, it's hard to build that confidence over time. So try every activity with confidence. Don't worry about getting it wrong. Mistakes we can correct. We're all here to learn. Is that clear, Yahya?
Yeah, it's clear.
So now the way we'll do activities, the first 1 or 2 we'll discuss. I'll answer or I'll ask you to answer and I'll give hints. We'll answer. And then all students, after the first 2, I'll say, now all students can pause the lesson and do all the rest of the activities in their own time. And once you've finished all the full activity, so once you finish the full activity, then you press play again, and then you listen to the rest of the lesson or the rest of the answers, where inshallah me and Yahya will be going through the answers of all the activity. So Yahya, is that clear?
Ji, it's clear.
So let's go through the first one. Qalamun, or in English, pen. Would you call that lafz mawdu or muhmal?
Mawdu.
Okay, I agree. I need a reason.
Because it's something meaningful. You understand that you're talking about.
It's a meaningful utterance. There's a meaning behind it. I'm just going to put tick. Okay, next. The next one is the word nasara. In Arabic or in English, it means he helped. Again, regarding nasara, would you say mawdu or would you say muhmal? By the way, you should write the full thing, love the mawdu, so meaningful utterance. So don't be lazy like me, but rather write the full thing. Love the mawdu. Yeah. So would you call it mawdu or muhmal?
Mawdu.
So again, mawdu. So love mawdu. Love mawdu. Why? Because it's a meaningful utterance. Done. Now I request all students to press pause here and wait. Do all the activity, do the full activity, this activity number 1, do the full activity. And then once you finish the activity, it doesn't matter if you get it wrong. Once you finish the activity, then continue with the lesson where me and Yahya will now be going through the remaining examples. But it's very important that everyone tries themselves before they listen to the answers, or else if you listen to the answers, okay, you know it, but you won't be building and developing yourself. You'll just be listening to our answers. Yahya, the third one, days. Days. Days, would you call it mawdu or muhmal?
I would assume muhmal.
Muhmal. Because it is in Arabic language, to the best of my knowledge, that doesn't have any meaning. By the way, just as a guide, that's actually the reverse of the word Zayd. You know, the Arabic name Zayd is the reverse of that, but it has no meaning to the best of our knowledge. So it's a cross, it has no meaning, it's a meaningless utterance, hence it's muhmal. Then sayyarah, that's already done for us. It's an example in a book. Then the one after it, labi hasd or labi hasud. I can't read it properly. Labi hasud. Is that mawdu or muhmal? Have you ever heard of the Arabic word? Do you know any meaning behind it?
Nope, never heard of it.
And I don't as well. To the best of my knowledge, there's no meaning behind it. Hence, that's also muhmal. Obviously, there's a bit of a hint because there was not even English translation for it. That shows that we don't even know what that word is. So anyway, labi hasud is also muhmal, meaningless utterance, cross. You should write the full thing, meaningless utterance. And then finally, kitab. Kitabun means book. So is that mawdu or muhmal?
Mawdu.
Mawdu. Clearly it's mawdu because it has a meaning behind it. Then is that clear?
Ji, it's clear.
Any questions?
Nope, no questions.
Moving on now. Now, from the word from mawdu and muhmal, which one do you think we're going to concentrate on?
Mawdu.
For our discussion of grammar, so going back to the flow chart, it's always useful to continue your flow chart, to write your flow chart out. I'm one of those, I just love flow charts, and I like to, in my brain as well, I like to make everything into flow charts. It just helps me understanding my things better. Now, in Arabic language and grammar, do you really think we're going to be bothered about meaningless words?
Nope.
No. So this is the last time you're going to hear the word muhmal in this book. Now let's focus on mawdu. Love the mawdu, meaningful stuff. Now mawdu can have two types. Mufrad or murakkab. Mufrad are singular words and murakkab are phrases or sentences. So murakkab, a phrase or sentence. So whether it's half a sentence or whether it's the full sentence, murakkab in Arabic means joint. So when two or more words are joint. And mufrad is a singular word. By the way, another Arabic word for mufrad is kalima, singular word. And another Arabic word for murakkab is kalam. if you go deep into Arabic language and grammar, there are slight variations between them, but we don't go that deep right now. But anyway, mufrad or kalima and murakkab and kalam. So now let's go through the exercises. There are some meanings mentioned in the footnotes for some of these words, but I'll be mentioning the meaning anyway. Daftaru Khalid. So the first two will go through, then everyone will pause. They'll try themselves. They've got the help of the words and the meanings behind and the footnotes, and then they'll listen to the answer that me and Yahya share. So first two will go through. Daftaru Khalid. Khalid's notebook. Daftar means notebook. Khalid is a name. So Daftaru Khalid. Would you say that's mufrad or murakkab?
Murakkab.
Murakkab. I agree with you. Why?
Because it's two words.
Two words. So more than one word. More than one word, it's a phrase. It's not a full sentence. It's not a complete sentence, but it's still a phrase. It's more than one word. Next. Al-babu mughlaqun. Al-bab means the door. Mughlaq means locked. By the way, you don't need to know the meanings of all this. That's not the purpose of Nahw. In Nahw, we're not learning that. That will happen in your other books, like Qisas al-Nabi, in language books. But obviously right now, to give examples, we need to basically have certain words. So that's why it's there. And that's why the meanings are mentioned in the footnotes, because you're not expected to know them at this stage. So al-babu mughlaqun means the door is closed. Al-babu means the door. Mughlaq means closed. So would you say mufrad or murakkab?
Murakkab.
Murakkab. Why? Because
it's more than one word.
It's more than one word. And to be honest, this is a complete sentence as well. But anyway, it's more than one word. So I'm just going to say more than one. Or in fact, I'm being a bit lazy. You lot should be writing it full. I'll just write 1 plus. At-ta'am. Ta'am. The food. Is that mufrad or murakkab?
Mufrad.
Mufrad. Mufrad. It's a single word. So that's basically mufrad. So now I request everyone to pause at this stage and then do the rest of the exercises in your own. Do the rest of the exercises. And then once you've completed them, then listen to our answers and correct any mistakes you might have. So Yahya, the next example, we'll call it number 5. So number 4 was the worked example. Number 5 now. Talibun tawilun, the tall student. Yep.
Murakkab.
Murakkab. Murakkab. And murakkab is 1 plus word. So it's murakkab. Next, al-kitabu al-maktab. The book is upon, al-maktab means desk. The book is upon the desk. Yep.
Also murakkab. Also
murakkab because it's more than one word. The next exercise or next example, at-ta'amu ladidun. Ta'am means food. The food is delicious. Ladid means delicious. The food is delicious. Yep.
Murakkab.
Murakkab. And then the final one, al-ma'u. Al-ma'u. That is?
Mufrad.
Mufrad. So overall, alhamdulillah, it was a very straightforward exercise. Hopefully everyone found it very easy and very straightforward. And it's true, for those that found it very easy, alhamdulillah, for those that struggled, no, don't worry. Eventually everything will become easy. And for those that did find it very easy, don't think everything will be as easy as this lesson. There will be much more of a challenge as we progress. But I can, inshallah, give you with confidence, I can tell you that after you've done the 43 chapters, you will be getting a very good picture of the overall structure of Arabic grammar. So it's well worth the book and the course in the sense of going through Nahw Primer, inshallah. Jazakallahu khairah. Any questions, Yahya?
No questions.
Jazakallahu khairah for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.